30 seconds and counting.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be looking over a potential trade that has been circulating around, and that is that the Houston Rockets are interested in trading for Miami Heat shooting guard Tyler Herro. Now, Tyler Herro and the Rockets, this is not the first time that they've been linked together. Again, Herro was tossed around in a lot of trade rumors back when James Harden was in that trade saga, and Miami was one of the potential listed destinations, but one of the issues in that deal was that Miami refused to give up Tyler Herro for James Harden. They thought that he was too valuable. And, about a year later, Miami has now been swept out of the first round by the Milwaukee Bucks. And they are looking to revitalize their team, trying to get themselves back into a position where they can compete for championship, maybe get back to the finals like they did last year. And so that leads us now into this situation where they are now open to trading Tyler Herro to a team like the Houston Rockets, where we have a lot of quality vets that can help them win a championship. And should we be in the mix to trade for Tyler Herro, you're most likely looking at a trade that will send Eric Gordon and the pick swap in 2022 that we got from Miami in the Victor Oladipo trade being sent back to them in a potential trade package for Tyler Herro. I think this is a deal that probably mutually benefits both of these teams. Houston and Miami will both get what they want out of this deal.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a low risk, high reward type of move for the Rockets, and for the Heat, whose timeline is win now. They're going to have not that much patience for Tyler Herro, who kind of experienced a sophomore slump in terms of his 3-point shooting did go down a little. Like stats wise, it wasn't a huge difference comparing his first season last season, but in the playoffs this year, he really didn't do that well. But yeah, I think it will be a great addition for us. And it really depends, kind of indicates if we do make this trade, that the Rockets are kind of leaning towards Evan Mobley. And then kind of imagine a core of KPJ, Hero, Tate, and then Wood and then Mobley. I think that's a very strong young core to build your team around. And I think Silas will really revitalized Hero's career, and he's shown potential. Obviously, in the bubble, you're going to shoot better than you usually do, but I mean, it shows that he can be that type of guy. So I would love this trade for both sides, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, like you pointed out briefly, as far as the draft goes, I think if we do end up trading for Tyler Herro, I think it almost pretty much sets it in stone that we're going to draft Evan Mobley, because I can't imagine a situation where you trade for Tyler Herro and then draft another shooting guard in Jalen Green, right? Your guard rotation just becomes so deep. You still have you still have John Wall, you still have Kevin Porter Jr. Gordon will be gone in the deal. But you still have DJ Augustine, you still have Armani Brooks, you still have Kyrie Thomas, you still have all these guys, and now you're also incorporating Jalen Green and Tyler Herro. And not to mention whoever we end up drafting the late first round. I think there would just be too many guards for the Rockets to draft Jalen Green should we trade for Tyler Herro. So I think what happens in this potential trade, if it does happen, I think will say a lot about what the Rockets are going to do come draft night, as far as who they take with that second overall pick. Of course, there is the best case scenario, or I guess worst case scenario for Detroit, that they don't draft Cade Cunningham, and then now we're looking at a completely different ball game here. But assuming that Pistons are going to be logical and take Cade Cunningham, you're probably looking at the Rockets drafting Evan Mobley with this second overall pick if the Rockets do end up trading for Tyler Herro, just to make sure that their rotations aren't completely busted and they don't have to, have 7 guards that they all need to give minutes to. Now, as far as what Herro brings to this team, again, statistically, he didn't have a big leap like you would expect from a 21-year-old player who just had one of the best playoffs in his career of any rookie in his rookie season. We all know him dropping 37 in the Eastern Conference Finals. But he didn't take really the big leap that people thought he would in his sophomore season. Averaged a little over a point more per game. His efficiency took a little bit of a hit. He shot 36% this year from three, as opposed to 39% in his rookie season. He did get a slight improvement from the field, start shooting 44% from the field versus 43% in his rookie season. But besides that, his counting stats didn't really improve a whole lot. He did obviously get a few more rebounds and an assist more, but again, that is also contributing to the fact that he also played an extra 3 minutes per game this season. So again, for Tyler Hero, not the biggest sophomore jump that you would expect, but I believe that putting him in a scenario in Houston where he's going to be a little bit more of a pivotal piece on this team. He only started 15 games for the Miami Heat last season out of the 54 that he played, and if he was to be traded to Houston, he's probably going to be starting every game unless he's unhealthy, obviously. But and that will obviously help him in improving his stats, improving his performance. I just think that Tyler Hero kind of let the hype get to his head in a way in his sophomore season with all of the hype surrounding him, and people were kind of labeling him as like a superstar potential player. He kind of let that get to his head, but I think putting him in a situation in Houston where he can kind of, recollect himself, get more focused on just getting himself better and sort of eliminating the distractions that he has at hand, I think will really, really help Tyler Hero. And I think all of the jokes and the memes and all of that aside about Tyler Hero and all of his performance, I think he really does bring a lot to the table that the Houston Rockets could really take advantage of, especially if his trade value is very, very low, like it seems to be indicated, and as far as the rumor mill and all that's been circulating.
Yeah, and I think like another reason for his slump is like he had a really short off season. I mean, like there's like a 2 month off season, so having like a very like short recovery time, it's going to be hard on players. Not only on Hero but all the other Heat players. And I'm sure the Lakers also felt that kind of short off season. Like in the regular season with all their injuries and how they performed in the playoffs this year. So obviously that could also be a contributing factor. Also, the fact that he had a lot of pressure being considering as the main centerpiece for James Harden trades and having to live up to that kind of high expectations. Hopefully, the Heat, Pat Riley doesn't really ask too much, kind of how he has in the past. But I think if they're smart, I think this trade works for both these teams' timelines for sure.
With the Rockets and this deal, Hero, when you look at him as a centerpiece for a trade for a superstar player like James Harden, he's not worth it at all. But when you're looking at him as a piece that you can get for a guy like Eric Gordon, who the Rockets are bound to offload him anyway, right? He doesn't fit the timeline. He has a pretty bad contract. If you look at him as a guy who you can get return for that, I think this is an absolute home run of a deal. The deal itself makes sense for both teams. Tyler Hero will get a fresh start in Houston, and the Rockets get what they want. They get younger, and they get a guy with a lot of upside. It's a low risk, high reward move. And for the Miami Heat, they get a guy who fits their system perfectly. He plays really good defense. He knocks down the 3 point shot at a very, very high clip when he's healthy. Also has the ability to create shots for himself off the dribble. And so he really fits perfectly for a team that desperately needs offense, especially from the perimeter. Eric Gordon brings that a lot better than Tyler Hero does. Gordon can also fit into that sixth man role that Tyler Hero played. He played sixth man a lot for us in his tenure in Houston as well, and I think he's going to fit seamlessly in a six man role with Miami. The deal itself makes perfect sense for both teams, and I think if we can get the little details aside about, like, if we're going to attach draft picks and all of that, I think the Rockets could really get a very, very good deal out of this, because if they can maximize Tyler Hero's potential, they will have gotten a bargain of a deal taking on Tyler Hero when his trade value is probably at its lowest that it'll ever be. And as for the Miami Heat, they're going to get a veteran who's going to help them compete for a championship, compete for a spot to get back to that finals that they were in a year ago. Now, that will just about wrap it up for this video. Again, let us know, are you open to trading for Tyler Hero? Do you think that he should be traded for by the Houston Rockets? And if so, what would you trade him for? Let us know down in the comments section, and we'll discuss about it there. As always, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.